Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today as we unpack the 2026 blueprint for navigating Australia's brand new Skills in Demand visa. Look, whether you're an HR manager trying to secure top-tier global talent, or you're a skilled professional mapping out your life in Australia, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the strict new requirements, uncover hidden pitfalls like the dead time trap, and most importantly, look at the practical trade-offs you need to make to streamline your pathway to permanent residency.
So, Australia's skilled migration landscape just went through its biggest shakeup in a decade. Seriously, the old Temporary Skill Shortage, or TSS visa, it's officially a thing of the past. What we have now is a fully modernized system built entirely around dynamic salary indexation and highly strategic PR pathways. This isn't just a simple rebranding, it's a fundamental shift in how Australia attracts global talent. For all you decision makers out there, this means no more stressing over outdated occupation lists. Your entire strategy now revolves around guaranteed earnings. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the roadmap we'll be tackling today. We're going to quickly hit the new SID visa, map out your three-stream choices, break down the actual costs, navigate the new grace period rules, and finish up with the ultimate goal, the path to PR.
All right, Section 1, the new SID visa and the massive macroeconomic shift it brings to the table.
Right off the bat, here's a massive, immediate win with the SID visa. The government has basically ripped up those rigid, old occupation frameworks for something way more dynamic. Under the old TSS system, you were practically locked out unless you had at least 2 solid years of work experience. Well, the new SID visa slashes that requirement down to just 1 single year of full-time equivalent work out of the last 5. And honestly, it gets better. Because part-time work, casual gigs, even clinical placements and internships can actually count toward this. Timeline-wise, this is literally a game changer for international graduates on a 45-5 temporary graduate visa. The big takeaway here is that you can now jump into employer sponsorship a full year earlier in your career.
Moving right along to Section 2, choosing your visa stream, and the 3 distinct pathways available to you.
Say goodbye to those old binary short-term and medium-term lists. The new system introduces a really sleek 3-tiered hierarchy tied directly to earnings, which brings up a huge strategic trade-off. Right in the middle lane, we've got the core skills stream. This is where the vast majority of applicants are going to land. It requires a minimum salary of just over $76,000 and covers 456 occupations on the core skills occupation list. Then you have the labor agreement stream. This one is strictly for specialized regional workforce needs that are negotiated directly with the government. And finally, the premium tier, the specialist skills stream. For employers, the big decision point here is carefully balancing those higher salary costs against blazing fast processing speeds. $141,210. Let that number sink in, because that is the premium trade-off. If an employer can guarantee this annual salary, and keep in mind, that figure jumps to over $146,000 in July 2026 thanks to indexation, the doors just fly open. Hitting this specialist skills income threshold lets you sponsor almost any professional occupation outside of trades and laborers. Even better, it completely bypasses mandatory labor market testing, and the processing time is a lightning-fast median of just 7 days. For HR managers, the takeaway is crystal clear. Paying a premium salary buys you incredible speed and completely removes the headache of running month-long job ads.
Let's step into Section 3, key requirements and mapping out the financial blueprint. Securing this visa is basically a strict 3-step dance. Step 1, the employer absolutely must be approved as a standard business sponsor. Step 2, the employer submits the nomination for the specific role and pays the mandatory government levies. Only after those 2 things are officially in motion can we reach Step 3, where the applicant actually lodges their visa application to prove their skills, English proficiency, and health requirements. You absolutely cannot jump ahead. If a visa application is lodged before that nomination, it's going to be refused and you've just wasted crucial time and money.
Let's talk dollars and cents. The employer is on the hook for a $420 sponsorship fee plus the Skilling Australians Fund, or SAF levy. That levy runs about $1,200 to $1,800 per visa year, depending on the size of the business. The visa applicant themselves is looking at a fee starting at $3,210. Now actually, let me be super clear on a massive compliance takeaway here. Under Australian immigration law, the employer absolutely cannot deduct or pass the cost of the SAF levy or the nomination fee onto the visa holder. No exceptions. It is a strict, non-negotiable corporate cost.
All right, on to Section 4, navigating the grace period, looking at your mobility and the risks involved.
It is the nightmare scenario that keeps every sponsored worker awake at night, right? What happens if you lose your job? Under the old system, the clock started ticking instantly, and you were pretty much bonded to a single employer. The pressure was just immense. But the new framework completely rewrites the rules of worker mobility.
180 days. That's a full 6 months. If your employment ends, S&D visa holders now have a massive 180 consecutive days to find a new approved sponsor, secure a different visa, or pack up and depart the country. And here is the absolute best part. During this window, visa holders retain full work rights. You can literally work for any employer in any occupation just to support yourself while you line up your next sponsorship. The practical takeaway? You are no longer trapped in a toxic workplace just because you're terrified of deportation. You have a full 6 months timeline to get back on track.
But wait, here is the hidden trap you absolutely need to know about, the dead time trap. Let's say you find a new sponsor during your grace period and you start working for them immediately. That's totally legal. But the time you spend working for them before your new nomination is officially approved by the Department of Home Affairs, that's considered dead time. It essentially pauses your PR clock. It does not count toward the timeline required to earn your permanent residency. So the crucial point is that you must factor in processing times before assuming your PR timeline is moving forward. And finally, Section 5, the path to PR, and those streamlined transitions we've all been waiting for.
Under the old rules, you were stuck waiting for 3 long years with your sponsor to even be eligible for PR. Well, the SID framework slashes that down by a full year. That is 365 days of your life back. So, at year 0, you start your SID visa. After just 2 years of continuous, full-time employment in your nominated occupation, boom, you become eligible to apply for the 186 Temporary Residence Transition, or TRT pathway.
And this compressed timeline brings some incredible perks for the applicant. The absolute standout feature here is portability, and this brilliantly illustrates your freedom of movement. As long as you stay in the same nominated occupation and move to another approved sponsor, your 2-year clock carries over with you. It doesn't reset to 0. Plus, for the 186 TRT pathway, you generally don't need to undergo another formal skills assessment. Processing takes around 13 months, and you just need to be under 45 years old when you apply.
Now watch out for this hidden gotcha that catches so many applicants completely off guard. To get your temporary SID visa, you only needed an IELTS English score of 5.0. But to transition to that permanent 186 visa, the requirement suddenly jumps up to competent English, which is an IELTS score of 6.0 in all bands. The strategic decision here? You literally need to start studying for that higher English requirement on day 1 of your new job, or you risk stalling your PR application right at the finish line.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, from shifting timelines to complex salary thresholds. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Is your current career path indexed for Australia's future? With salary thresholds adjusting upward every single July, HR managers and migrants alike really have to weigh these trade-offs carefully. You've got to plan strategically, not just for the visa you need today, but for the permanent residency you want tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.